As Cyclone Gabrielle weakens and moves away from the country, Aotearoa continues to recover from the storm that has taken 7 lives and displaced tens of thousands from their homes. In Tairāwhiti, Civil Defence says the power is back on for most people, but there are many remote communities where restrictions continue to affect access. Just now, MP for the East Coast, Kiritapu Allan, posted this to her Instagram, urging Gisborne residents to stop using water now until further notice because the water treatment system has failed. Earlier this morning, we caught up with the Minister on the ground in Turanganui-a-Kiwa and asked her what her priorities were for the day.
Today we are in Turanganui-a-Kiwa here in Gisborne. The real priority for us is providing support to those communities that have been disconnected for some time. We have the HMNZS Manawa Nui, which has come through the East Coast last night, dropping off critical supplies, petrol, water, kai. Over 1,000 tonne of food has been dropped off up the coast. Coming into Gisborne today, and Te Mana is going down into Hawke's Bay as well with 25 NZDF Defence Force crew to assist with the emergency response. So we're still in the critical response status without much connectivity at all. So the real priority, providing that immediate welfare support to those whānau that need it.
How's the Defence Force able to get into these areas?
So by air, by water. So we've got helicopters that are providing critical support and connectivity. By water through the ships, access through to the ports, and also utilising the unimogs that have been able to get into some of the areas which other vehicles haven't been able to do. That's been really crucial support, and just want to acknowledge the Defence Force for their service, actually. We've also, through our work with Waka Kotahi, they've been doing a lot of work to clear up the roads, particularly those big artillery routes. So State Highway 2, the road north from Gisborne through to Opotiki. We got 20 trucks of supplies through last night. That's been a game changer here because we were in quite a critical need of food and water. So that road been opened up. Also the road down south to Wairoa. They've managed to get critical emergency services through down there to be able to get in urgent supplies. Huge task ahead, Neil, but the focus right now for us as central government is providing those on the front line to be able to get out their support.
Minister, what have you been able to see firsthand in your travels around the East Coast?
Yeah, so 2 things really. One is being able to be just on the ground with whānau who have lost everything, meeting with families who have lost their entire homes, all of their worldly possessions, so to speak, and provide some form of comfort, but also be able to provide their experiences back into the emergency management centre so that we take out the requisite welfare support that we need. Yes, really fortunate to have the Prime Minister, Chris Hipkins, here to take it into Tikaraka. They're one of the communities that have been really impacted, a lot of devastation, homes lost. 500 people were evacuated up into the hills. So hearing firsthand from them, and so that then helps us go on to make decisions at a cabinet level about what kind of support we as central government need to be providing. Meeting with the businesses here severely impacted. Leader Brand's a really big employer here in our region. We depend on getting kai out to the rest of the nation and indeed the rest of the world. And those businesses here pay the bills for families. So making sure that we're well connected with our growers, our farmers who support so many communities here. And the other thing I think is really just being right in the emergency management hub. All parts of the system come through here. So we've been able to provide $1 million for our Mayoral Relief Fund, $1 million down to the Hawke's Bay Mayoral Relief Fund, and they're getting those resources immediately out the door. whilst we at a central level look at what more support will need to be provided, infrastructure is going to be critical, but as well getting the wheels turning in terms of just getting back to any semblance of BAU.
How disturbing is it to see what whānau are having to go through just to survive? As MP for the East Coast, and because they're your people, what hurts you the most about what you're witnessing?
The entire situation's devastating, heartbreaking. You know, when you're sitting with nannies and koros who lost their first home in Boulder, their second home now in Gabriel, lost everything that they own. When you're looking at the faces of those young mothers who don't know where they're going to be living in a week's time, currently living down at schools and emergency management centres, you know, that breaks your heart. What I think makes you feel slightly better is looking at every single person in this community do anything and everything that they possibly can to help their neighbour out in their time of need. Mourn together, grieve together, and then pull together to clear out people's homes. I'm meeting people like last night. I was down at the airport just dealing with, we've got people who have come in from out of region to help provide medical supplies, do what they can as that one was the Otago helicopter rescue. They were going out to communities. While I was there and hearing their stories about how they're getting up to our home, met with one of the guys here. They're big contractors, big providers at Eastland Port. They're like, we've got 40 guys ready to go. What can we do, mate? They're out to Tikaraka today just to wrap up support with their big, bulldozers and whatever it is that they do, but have those hands on the ground and just helping out. That's what we're seeing up and down the Motu. I saw Bailey Mac and his crew out there in Auckland rallying up all the Ngāti Porou troops and they pulled together 31 Starlinks to get into the East Coast yesterday. Massive amounts of support, getting them from everyone. And so just a big mihi to everybody outside of the region who are thinking about their loved ones here, anxious that they haven't heard from them. Thank you for the support that you're providing to the region, whatever ways that is. And just to provide some reassurance that if you haven't heard from your loved ones, I'm confident that we've got people out there getting to those that are in need and that they love and miss you all too.
That was Kiritapu Allan, Regional Development Minister and East Coast MP, speaking to us from Tūranganui a Kiwa.